And you're live.
All right, so most of what we're looking at today are pretty much all MSBA updates, and a lot of them are just small language tweaks. We only have a couple that were district or board requests, but most of what we're looking at are going to be MSBA changes, and that's starting with BBB-R.
Yep, you can see a careful replacement of the word only up top. And then the other two big changes had to do with changing of district names and creating sub-districts. So two paragraphs that are being added.
And just to clarify, this is to have policy be in accordance with law, right? Changing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, these are all statutory.
Great.
Then Kevin, I can take this one too, if you don't mind.
Yep, you want to take BCA, that'd be fine. Yeah.
Yep, Dr. Asner, President Cuneo, and Vice President Staten, for this March meeting, which we talked about in February, at the February 25th meeting, we're going to reorder so that we bring a little bit more clarity to when a board member rolls off, to make that definitive, but also to allow us to be in accord with the legal requirement to meet within the certain number of days after the election to hold the oath of office, yet not force a new board member to take action on behalf of the board until they're oriented. So both this policy and regulation tighten that up.
In other words, the meeting takes place before.
Right. So for this March and all future March meetings, we'll start in closed session. We'll make that a tight closed session. Then we'll go to the normal business meeting, but keep the announcement of the election results, the officers for the board, and the oath of office for any new members last on the business agenda, so that those new members aren't taking action. So for Scott, he will stay and be a part of closed session and the business meeting. So that's all that both the policy and then the regulation are doing. We're just moving up. We had freedom to do the secretary and treasurer later, but we are just tightening that to do all four positions at the same time.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and this BDC closed meeting votes and records. Again, this is a statutory change in an MSBA recommendation. It's all down there in 2 and 3. And you got the statutory references there.
Thanks. I have no more questions about that one.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one that I can take, Kevin. This is again to bring us in accord with the practice, Dr. Asner, which is that, as you know, the Friday informational packets do have all settlement authorities that Dr. Macklin has. So there's no need to provide a quarterly report. So just a very simple change.
Great.
On to a fun one. So artificial intelligence. So this is one we talked about a lot last year when we talked about this policy. We talked about how the policy and the regulation potentially would be coming back after we get a little bit further down the line with implementation. So most of the changes that are in here are either one, process changes based off of what we've seen employees asking for or questions we've been getting from employees, so better clarifying that. And then two, we now have two AI tools, Copilot from Microsoft and Gemini from Google, which through security protocols we're able to utilize within the district. So now that we have two AI tools that staff are allowed to use because they respect data privacy when you're using your district logins, we wanted to make sure that we had explanation of what that looks like and how staff can utilize those tools. So there will be a list of approved tools that staff will be able to reference. And right now that's just going to be Copilot and Gemini.
Thank you.
Now, Kevin, do we need to reference policy EHBC as far as because the
It's cross-referenced in the policy and the
oh,
regs.
okay.
We just don't
Okay,
do
we
as many
don't do it. Okay.
cross-references in the regs.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, good point, Doug. But yeah, it's in the policy. And that's a regulation that I'm sure we'll be bringing back here again 6 to 12 months from now as this continues to evolve. All right. GCBDAR, again, this is based off of a statutory change.
Sorry, just bear with me here for 1 second. Um, juggle a couple of different screens here on my side. Can we just make sure that this one gets pulled out for the whole board to see?
As an action item.
Thank you. Yeah, when it's time to approve it.
Academic calendar, this is the changes we talked about at the board meeting when we presented the calendar about the changes with funding that we need to have 169 days to get the maximum from our ADA.
Thank you. Yeah, no questions about that one.
Yep. Another one where we're just adopting the MSBA language that's aligned with what current statute is regarding homeschooling.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot to unmute it. Thank you.
Okay, pull the wrong one. Gotta get the regulation, right?
Yep, the reg is where the changes were. Yep.
Is it R1? Sorry, Kevin. Let me make sure. We're looking for R1, right?
Yep. So farther on the right.
Oh, sorry. The screen is blocking.
I believe that was just an addition of a link. And then there was also R2, where there was a minor tweak. And on the policies, it was just a cross-reference update. So yeah, there's not really much here.
I was gonna say I didn't see changes, but maybe I missed them.
Yeah, there was a cross-reference and one legal reference that was updated, but that's it.
Okay, thank you.
This is again Senate Bill 727 changes. Extremely minor.
Another very minor.
Yeah, just legalistic and some changes to some MSIP references.
Is there a difference between those two terms?
There's got to be a legal reason why they wanted to go from suspicion to cause to suspect. I think the threshold for cause to suspect is lower. And then this one small change, cleaning up language regarding a student who would be returning to one of their sending schools due to a disciplinary consequence at one of the technical high schools. So just better clearing up that language.
Thank
Okay, then these next three were actually the JHCD R3, R4, and R5. These were based on the MSBA language, but in speaking with our director of nursing, we got some additional guidance that we're going to want to update these. So we're actually going to table those three and bring them back in April with some additional edits.
Okay.
There's some newer guidance that we need to factor in for those. And then this is the statutory change of what we have to put on the back of student IDs. This one is a little challenging because it says local police department. And while that might be easy if you are working with one singular police department, because the footprint of our district, we're working through how we do that. And then this was a board request where we made some changes based upon what we see in policies for other districts regarding anonymous complaints and concerns.
Thank you. And again, if we could just make sure that goes back to the board to look at, since it was a request.
And Tom, normally we send regulations normally go as an information item. So just making sure that I think we had two of them that were regs that we want to do as action items.
Yeah, sometimes, and they're consensual, right?
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
That's the end of the list for February/March.
Cool. Thank you guys. Sorry for the canceled meeting this weekend or Friday.
I'll go ahead and
Thank you,
stop
everybody.
the recording.
Is it recording? Yeah. Is it? All right. I'll come cough on everybody in person in a couple hours. I'll put a mask.
As long as you had influenza